Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharya Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Valvas. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse locally. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that are going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. So you can't give it now, because I will prepare it now. We continue on our topic, the soul, and as I've discussed in the previous weeks, that it is only melanin, a chemical that is in the skin, that differentiates our humanity into different groups. And today I want to continue because we need to understand colonialism, and we need to understand why Europeans have the zest to be in control. This is going on for many centuries now, and we need not be bewildered by these control freaks anymore. We need to surgically analyze their behavior. And I think it was last week or the previous week when I stated that Europeans are not communal, they are individualists. And this happens from the birth. When a European child is born, that child is immediately given to a worker or a maid or a nanny to take care. And that child has a greater affection for the nanny than the parent itself. Yes or no? So, why is it like this? I spent 9 full years at a white police station, and I had 9 years of learning from various Europeans, be they Spanish, Portuguese, Afrikaans, English. They all worked at SAP Bria with me. And I found that they really were individualists, and you would have experienced in your lifetime. And we've had family in the UK, and they also informed us as what I'm going to inform you, that whites are 99.99% individualist. What do I mean when I say they are individualists? Jessica? Worry about themselves only. And I see Ashmika has gone technology privy. She got her own stand for a TikTok. Yeah, I feel happy when I see people use their brains, even if it's one cell at least. It's being used. You know? Guru is a simple guru. basic guru. And that's how, with basic rationality, I want you to understand the psyche of the white. So we declared their individualism, they are practicing individualism because from birth they've been individualized by their parents. And their parents were individualized by their parents, and it goes back right to the beginning of the white race. So this is why they don't talk about ancestors. In African tradition, Asian tradition, there's always talk of a direct connect to the ancestor, is it not? Yeah, you don't find white grandchildren madly in love with the white grandparents. Have you seen that anywhere? But in Indian, in the Indian race or in the black race, you see this interaction, this love. You don't find this love between whites. It will be very, very rare to find this love between whites because they take their grandparents, the parents and the grandchildren take their grandparents and they put them in an old age home. The old age home was invented by Europeans, was it not?
Yes.
Orphanages were invented by Europeans, was it not? All these institutions that break you away from your family were invented by whom? By whom? The whites. If you was an orphan in an Indian family, your aunties and your uncles, your grannies and your grandparents from both sides would take care of. Yes? This does not or did not happen and does not happen in the white community. In fact, you can't say white community because they are not communal. Have you seen whites being communal? Then, if you're an individualist and you want to care for yourself, which ideology or which philosophy will you use? Capitalism or socialism? Capitalism means making a profit for yourself. Socialism means distributing the profit to society. What do whites, right now, you've got the greatest white on the greatest country in this planet today as I speak, President Trump. What is he doing? Right now, today as I speak, he might be signing more and more executive orders. What is he doing? Yes. So he's making America an individualist state so that he cut aid of all countries. This is typical of a sick white person. Whites are sick. Can I say whites are sick? Psychologically ill. Can I make that statement? Without getting sued. I can make it. Why Mataji put her hands up? Oh, okay. Who visits psychologists and psychiatrists throughout their life? Now I'm giving you evidence. Which race? What do psychiatrists, if you visit a psychiatrist, Nirali, or a psychologist, what it means? You are mentally unstable. Why do you go to psychiatrists and psychologists? What percentage of America and what percentage of the UK visit psychiatrists and psychologists? How many percent you think? Well, I think you're almost 50% off, Dana. Don't you know that almost every European visits a psychiatrist or a psychologist from a certain age in their life? You know? You don't know. Well, I'm giving you evidence. Go and Google and you'll see everyone on the medical aid visits a psychiatrist or a psychologist. It is a natural thing for Europeans. This is not part of an Indian culture or a black culture or an African culture. You go visit your sangomas, your gurus, and your priests. Are you understanding the sickness of the white mentality? And can you see how they invaded this whole world with their illness? What type of people will keep another human being in chains as a slave? I want you to understand the mentality of a human being that will chain another human being and make that human being work like an animal. What is the mental status of that human that chains another human and make that human starve and work like an animal? Is that person not a mentally sick and an unstable person? Yes? How many years ago were they doing this? About 200 years ago? Up until the 1800s? When was slavery abolished? You can Google it. Somebody can Google it. Then how many generations of these whites took their birth after slavery was abolished? And if slavery was in the great-grandparents' DNA, that mentality to enslave people, can you see that mentality still prevalent today? But they enslaving you economically now. They enslaved you physically throughout the centuries, yes. That sickness is still in their head. There's about 5 or 6 white families ruling South Africa. 5 or 6 running the South African economy. Yes or no? And how many million people are starving because they are running the economy? How many million of people live in jungles and shacks? 6 families are making them do that. Must watch all Robert Herzog. He's on podcast now. He's giving talks and he's always talking about capitalism. Is he talking about black poverty? He's only talking about capitalism, white monopoly. He's not talking about the suffering of the blacks. Does capitalism work? Capitalism doesn't work. What population of this world is enjoying the wealth of their countries? What percentage population in this world is enjoying the wealth of their country? Very small, isn't it? China. Are Chinese people enjoying the wealth of their country? Yes. Yes. They're enjoying the wealth of the country more than those in a democracy. When China makes a bridge between 2 mountains, who benefits? Does the government benefit? Or the citizen benefit? Or there's a mutual benefit? there's a mutual benefit. When they make a railway station underground, there is a mutual benefit. When they make bridges overseas, there's a mutual benefit. In capitalist countries, do you know how many people are suffering in poverty in America? In Europe, they are poverty-stricken European capitalist states. It's only the elite, like in South Africa, the elite that's living a prosperous life. Do you know that? So capitalism is here to oppress the citizens directly and enslave the citizens into poverty. That is what capitalism is. So to change that, we need to understand how sick the capitalist mind is. So whites always want to be in control. Have you noticed that? Even in our 30-year democracy, if you sit in a room where there's one white person, what would that one white person want to do? If there's 20 non-whites, they have the same qualifications, they all have the PhDs, but it is a natural instinct for the sick white man to be in control. When you want to be in control, what it means, what type of people want to be in control? Generally, narcissists, people who have no confidence in themselves, they become controlling freaks. And all Indian wives that are controllers, you must have had some white ancestry. Cyril is enjoying this. Okay? So when you want to be in control, it means you are deficient in your own confidence. That is why, to camouflage your confidence, you want to control. You want to be superior. So we can declare today, with evidence, that white or Europeans are psychologically imbalanced, aren't they? So they take this out wherever they go, and you see when they started colonizing, it's not that controlled psychology is manifested when they began colonizing all over. When they began enslaving and subsequently they began colonizing. And you can see this wave very, very clearly if you do adequate research. First, you'll find before World War II that the British were capturing the world, yes?
Yeah.
And after World War II, the Americans started capturing the world, yes?
Yes.
And this president currently, this sick president, is changing the dynamics of the world today, is he not? Unilaterally. Unilaterally. And he got another sick, imbalanced, psychologically ill white guru. Guru Elon Musk. He is the guru of Donald Trump. Two sick people making very, very sick decisions. So I bring all of these current status quos, current political and geopolitical narratives into my discourse as a guru So that when you come for me to touch your head and bless you, and you don't get adequately blessed, you can't blame me. Because these people are stealing your blessings. These whites, these Europeans have stolen your blessings. Because they're controlling the economy, and most of you come here to get blessed for economical upliftment. Now I can't economically uplift you because the Ruperts and all of these Oppenheimers, Herzog, these people got their money in your hand. So what we need to do is to become active citizens and recognize that the entire ANC government, maybe a few here and there, is totally controlled by these white capitalists. How can I prove this? I'm saying this, how can I prove this? Yes, but how can I prove that these white monopoly capitalists are controlling South Africa? How can I prove this evidentially? Because every time the GNU, when the DA in the GNU have a problem, then you hear the RAN is going down. Is that not evidence that they are controlling the government? And when they are affected, they say the RAN is going down. Is that not adequate proof, Jessica?
Yes, it is.
Yes, you don't have to go further. Because quite a few times now I saw that whenever the GNU there was a problem with the DA, the business said the RAND is going down. And Helen Zille herself stated publicly that business came to her and told her, help her to protect Cyril Ramaphosa against the EFF and MK takeover. So is that not enough evidence to say that 6 or 7 families? So I'd like to take this satsang to those families, that is why, because they are not communal people. We can teach them how to become communal. What does communal mean? You never saw me drinking so much of water in one go. Can you see how these whites are distressing me? Even influencing my satsang and my water intake. You see, when I worked at SAP Bria, in the 80s, it was in the height of apartheid, in the 1980s. I joined the force in the early 80s, and as I said, I worked with Greeks, with Germans, with all these different European nationalities, but they all had one thing in common. If we said, let's go for a bride, then everyone must be apportioned what they need to bring. You take your own 6-pack beer, you take your own alcohol, you take your own 2-piece meat, you take your own 2 sausage, you take everything of your own and go for the bride. If they have in a wedding, they'll invite maybe 10 people. How many? 10. If they don't have family get-togethers, and if they do, come with your own. Now compare that to African tradition and compare that to Indian tradition. Does come with your own exist in African and Indian tradition? What happens in a community? What happens when you experience communal life, what happens to you psychologically? Rajesh, if you have to go to Joburg tomorrow to meet your granddaughter, your son, your daughter-in-law, how would you feel, you and Jessica? Can you describe that feeling? Can you put a quantum to that feeling? Is it not such a great feeling? When you have weddings at your house, when you have parties, when you invite your family, what is that feeling? What is the energy that is experienced at these events and feelings? But if you were to take your own food to a party, how do you feel? Well, Vasan, don't worry. This question is not for Vasan.
To guard your food against Vasan.
Yeah. Vasan can come with 2 sliced bread and eat a whole loaf and go back. I'm saying I'm being realistic, I'm being simple, this basic. Now this is what is ingrained in the psyche of Europeans, and that is why they are always selfish. Everything is about firstly them, and then next to you is what? Okay, I'm going to say it like this. If I take 5 Indians, 5 Khoisan, let us not forget our prince, he might be watching this discourse in the Eastern Cape, through his weak data system, he must be hearing. And I hope he hears the word Khoisan, or San, or Slatikulu. I'm saying if we take 5 Slatikulu, 5 Indians, 5 Africans, and 5 whites, and put them in the room, and observe through cameras, what will you see? All the race groups will start gravitating towards each other. But you see the whites 99.9% of the time will gravitate towards each other. So this is what they do. From individualists, when they gravitate in, they'll gravitate to their own race. This is why there's 6 million whites in South Africa, are there not? There's 300,000 paid up members for AfriForum. $300,000. AfriForum, when they went and met President Trump, they represented how many Afrikaners? 350,000. Why didn't 5.5 million whites get upset with them? Don't you think that at least 5.5 million whites was supposed to come out publicly against AfriForum for the lies that they have perpetuated in America? But because they are all in the same sick mental state, they are in solidarity with Tate and AfriForum. Yes? So we need to understand this, because when by continually oppressing us, have they not become our enemies?
Yes.
Our biggest enemies in the world today are who? Are whites. We can say this confidently. We can say this confidently. Why Nirali? Guru can say confidently that our biggest enemies are whites.
Because they are the source of all our problems.
Number one, they are the source of all the problems in the world. The entire world, the source of the world's problem are whites, are Europeans. Yes? And if I'm generalizing that they are the source of the world's problem, I'm including those that are active participants and those that are ordinary whites. Because those ordinary whites, if they really cared for the world, then they should have got up against their own, don't you think? By remaining passive, whilst the Europeans and the white population is bulldozing the globe. At the moment they are bulldozing the globe. Where is their resistance from their own white counterparts? Is there any resistance from their own white counterparts? If there is no resistance from them, that means they are in harmony with what is happening around the world. Yes? So this is our problem. This is our problem, and I stated at the onset when I began explaining a few discourses ago why whites behave in this manner. And I spoke about King Pariksit, the last emperor. Did I speak about King Pariksit? And what did I say? When Kali Yuga entered, or when Kali entered the material atmosphere, when Lord Sri Krishna left, what happened? Which four places were Kali given to live in? Where? Gold. Where there is gold. Where there is prostitution. Where there is gambling and alcohol. And where there are slaughterhouses. These are the places Kali. Who is Kali? This season that we are currently living in is called Kali Yuga. In this season, we will only have 25% righteousness. In the season, we will only have 25% righteousness. So what is the function of Kali in this season? To create 75% of unrighteousness. That is the function of Kali, to create. Remember, this Kali I'm talking about is not our revered Mother Kali. This Kali is the blackness, the ignorance, the 75% of ignorance. Unrighteousness and ignorance goes hand in hand. Alright? So, what is the white monopoly around the world? On what element have they premised their economy?
That's about money.
Yeah, on what element? What of these four elements? Gold. On gold. So where there is gold, there is Kali of Kali Yuga, and all the gold reserves are controlled by whom? What? Monopoly. Aren't they controlling the gold reserves around the world? So, is the Vedas correct? Is the Vedas correct in stating that Kali will inhabit these four places? So, bringing this discourse back into its perspective, as I said, our main topic is the soul. We are on discussion on the soul, and it is the different bodies that we wear. The different bodies that we wear, we enact a particular role in that body by virtue of our previous life karma. So whatever is happening now, whatever is taking place in the world now, is managed by the Supreme Lord Himself. And I just want to show you quickly. These Europeans really make me thirsty. They also invented alcohol and beer, yes? Dhanav. So I'm reading from the Bhagavad Gita, Cyril. I just wanted to confirm the discussion we had outside, and I want you to understand it more clearly. Chapter 10, verse 24. Among family priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of reservoir water, I am the ocean. But I'm talking about family priests. Because Cyril said he witnessed a funeral, was it last week, Cyril? Yeah. And there was a priest that did his Om Swaha very quickly in the front, and then he gave the Mahapatar to do the rest of the ceremony. Do you think that's right? Anyone thinks that's right? What is the function of the Mahapatar and what is his qualification?
Baba.
He is a Baba. And the reason this priest did that, because he was also performing a prayer at the next body that came. So quickly, he did his own swaha there, and then he told that Mahapatar, you carry on, so that he could go to the next body. Is that priestly? Our community is ignorant of the rituals and procedures when somebody passes on. They are also duressed at that point in time. Aren't they? They depressed. So they engage a priest. When you engage a priest, what do you do and what do you take for granted?
He knows what he is doing.
that he knows everything, his part will be concluded efficiently, yes? So, generally, in Hindu families, very few families I know here in South Africa that knows of the procedures that need to take place. They take their guidance from the priest. When this priestly system was introduced, Cyril, I think in your time, if a priest came and did prayer, he was supposed to be given something called Siddha. Yes? And what is Siddha? I know some people come and give me Siddha. Timelessly. One small packet of plastic packet of rice, dal, beans, one handkerchief, one towel. Yes? That was what a priest supposed to get. So that priest Cyril is talking about, I spoke about him I think in about 7 or 8 satsangs ago, because he came to this ashram in a sports car. So I was standing outside and a sports car came down the driveway, with lowered suspension, but a very nice looking car. In my days I would have enjoyed it. Even today, I don't mind having a car. So the car came down and parked off there. And I expected a young boy of about 27, 28, in his tracks and cap to jump off. One old priest jumped off, older than me. He said his age is 67. And he was a chaplain in the police force. And I'm a former policeman. Dana is a policeman as well. Dana, you would know him from the police force. Yes. Okay, Dana knows this priest from the police force. So he wanted to use this venue for Manilal and Chunilal. And I said, no, we have our own system here. You can't bring Manilal and Chunilal and get me involved. But I can give you freedom of this venue. This is, anyone in the public can come and use the venue. I have no problem, but don't associate me because we conflict in ideologies. So this is a piece that Cyril saw, because Cyril was here when he came at the cemetery. And sometimes we don't blame him because I think the installments of these sport cars are quite heavy. Maybe you have to jump from body to make a quick buck and to have enough money to pay your installments, your service, and all of that. But this is not what the Bhagavad Gita is saying. This is not what the Bhagavad Gita is saying, and the Bhagavad Gita is the handbook for Hindus. What is not here doesn't exist. Yes?
Yes.
The Bible is a handbook for, the Quran is a handbook for, the Torah is a handbook for, and the Bhagavad Gita is a handbook for Sanatana Dharma, or those of you who like to call yourself Hindus. And here Lord Krishna is saying that among family priests, he is Brahaspati. Now who is Brahaspati? Brahaspati is the guru of the 330 million cosmic administrators. 330 million cosmic administrators, whom we as Hindus call Devis and Devatas. So Brahaspati is the guru of all the Devis and Devatas. See, my boy knows it. Cyril, and that is Cyril's grandson. Cyril, I think you should take your grandson to that, please. Let him learn a few lessons from the 5-year-old boy. Alright? So what I'm saying, we got 10 minutes, I think we're going to have load shedding.
No, suspended. Suspended.
It's suspended? Okay. We'll go on another 2 hours. What is Lord Sri Krishna saying? That your priest must have the same qualification. Your priest must have the same qualification as Brahaspati, who is the guru of the Devis and Devatas. If your priest is asking for the 2,000 rand, change it. If your priest is asking for 2,000 rand, change it. Very hard in Kali Yuga to find a priest who is not going to ask you for money. Okay? But try and find a priest that tells you whatever you offer, I will accept. If a priest gives you an amount, then whatever you do in kata and janda, whatever you are doing, it will be material, it won't be spiritual. There's a difference between materialism and spiritualism. It's all about consciousness. What is consciousness? What is consciousness? Consciousness is the energy that is emanating from your soul, which is situated in your heart. Yes? For a priest who is concentrating on God, because Brahaspati, Lord Sri Krishna said, he is in Brahaspati, and a priest in the condition of Brahaspati, will he be spiritual or material? Why do you need to be spiritual when it comes to a priest? Why do you need a priest to be spiritual? Because when he performs any ritual on your behalf, he becomes the data. He becomes the data to take that energy and transfer it to the Supreme. A ritual is a burst of energy, is it not? Everything is energy in this universe. And a ritual is also a burst of energy. You need to relate that energy to the Supreme Lord, and He is the mediator between you and the Supreme Lord, and the transference of the energy between you and the Supreme Lord. Is this why we pray? Is this why we perform rituals? And is this why you need somebody that is professional in understanding what he is doing? Alright? So you will notice that 99.99% of the priests are on a racetrack. Have you noticed that? You notice that? That speed is the time for the next prayer, the next money that they are going to go and collect. When you push a prayer with that speed, are you harnessing the spiritual energy from the family that is concerned. When you want to harness something, how do you harness it? With devotion. With devotion, yes? And is that speed devotional? How are mantras chanted? At what speed should mantras be chanted? What are mantras? And what do mantras activate? How do they activate energy? Through frequency. Through? So the frequency must be at the right level so that you can harness that energy through frequency. Sanatana Dharma is an exact science. Scientists are still synchronizing their science to match up with the science of Sanatana Dharma. I've proven this on countless times. Alright? So as I said, if you magnify an apple, when you go into the apple, what you get? When you go into the seeds, what you get? Molecules? When you go into the molecules, what will you get? Can't you? No, the whole apple is matter. When you go into the molecule, what you will get? Atom. When you go into the atom, what will you get? You magnify the same apple now. What you get? No, you get atoms. When you go into the atom, what you get? You get a nucleus and you get an electron that's rotating. When you go into the nucleus, what will you get? You'll get quarks, small particles, and when you magnify the small particles, what you'll get? You get a little string. Now they're calling it the string theory. This is in the Rig Veda. This is found in the Rig Veda, which we cannot allocate any time to. Alright, so I said science is slowly catching up. And now they've caught up that we are using two frequencies. In a total spectrum of frequencies, humans can only use two frequencies. One frequency to and one frequency to C. Yes? But there's an entire spectrum of frequencies that's happening around us which we cannot see. Which we cannot see. There's millions of things happening right in front of us here, but we cannot see it because our eyes is not attuned to the various frequencies. It's only attuned to the frequency in which I am seeing you and you are seeing me. The ear is also, if we bring Lakshman, our dog, and we make him sit in the ashram, and if there's a sound at the gate on the top, will your ear pick it up? Will Lakshman's ear pick it up? His smell, will he pick up a smell there at the gate? It means there's another frequency that's in operation which we are not connected to, yes? And the dog is connected to a frequency, and the human is connected to a different frequency, and a snake. Do you know how many thousands of snakes are around us right now? Nirali? Yeah, on this property. I'm not talking outside. On this property and in this heat. And they always come to the Guru's room. They always come to the Guru's kutir. Why you think they land there? Aircon. Because they also work on frequency and vibrations. And the Guru's room has the most neutral frequency. There was one living on my ceiling for I don't know how many. And the boys, when they were clearing the driveway every day, they were finding a few. Okay? So Nirali, what's your frequency? Come and see the Guru, I'll bless you with the snake detecting frequency. You will see the snake before the snake feels you. Alright? So this is a reality and this is what we need to understand. Our job is to remove our ignorance. The job of a Guru is to, in a very basic way, to remove your ignorance so that we can understand the basic principles of life. We want to do so many things, we want so many things in this world, but we do not understand our basic ignorance. And that is where we are falling short as Hindus. Aren't we falling short as Hindus? Hindus are always against each other's throats. Are they not? If I build a temple, then you will build a bigger temple. That's a Hindu way of life, which we need to remove and we need to unite. And we need to come together, which we have not managed in all these years. And look at the Muslims. They are united. Look at the Christians, they are united. Because the Hindus don't have a single source, yet the source is here. The Bhagavad Gita is the source of Hindus. But how many Hindus know one verse? See, on my TikTok, maybe there's a whole lot of negative comments there when the Guru is talking, and I appreciate it. I have no problem. Because it is through ignorance you comment negatively. But have you mastered the Bhagavad Gita? Have you read the 700 pages of the Bhagavad Gita? Do you know the Bhagavad Gita? If you know the Bhagavad Gita, you are experienced, you're a specialist in the Bhagavad Gita, then only can you come and you can make a comment against the Guru. Can you go and comment adversely against a professor of law when you haven't opened a single law book in your life? You have to be an idiot if you are making adverse comments against a professor who has a doctorate in law. Yes or no? Logic, common sense. So similarly, a Guru has a doctorate in spirituality. Yes or no?
Yes.
Because he has realized the Bhagavad Gita. And if you realize the Bhagavad Gita, then you have realized the entire mechanics of this universe. Because the entire mechanics of this universe is in the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. And the Guru has realized the Bhagavad Gita. The Guru knows how this universe was created from the first atom, how the universe expanded and to where the universe is. And the Guru also knows how this universe can be dissolved back into the first atom. You understand? So spirituality is about understanding how the universe works and what is your role in the universe. So at the moment, whilst you are sitting here, each body has 53 trillion cells. Does it not? Each cell of that 53 trillion cell is in contact with one part of the universe. Do you know that? You have a direct link. Every cell of your body has a direct link to the entire universe itself. Do you know that? You have a luminous, subtle body that is inside you. You have a luminous, subtle body that's inside you. that is exchanging energy outside with the universe. Do you know that? Can you see that luminous subtle body? Can you see that? You can't. But now science is acknowledging, material science is acknowledging that inside this gross body there is another body. We know this since time immemorial. We know there is a gross body. We know there is a pranic body which keeps this gross body in shape. This shape that this gross body is in currently is there through the pranic body. What is a pranic body? Air body. And inside the air body, there's a mental body, the mind. Inside the pranic body is the mind, and inside the mental body is the intellectual body. Is the intellectual body, and inside the intellectual body is the causal body, and the causal body is covering the soul. The job of a guru is not to point you outside your body. The job of your guru is to point you inside your body. When the guru points you inside the body, you need to penetrate your pranic body. You need to penetrate your mental body. You need to penetrate your intellectual body, and you need to penetrate your causal body. And inside your causal body is the you. You are inside your causal body. You are not this body. You are, this body belongs to you. You are not this body. You don't say, I finger. If you are this body, you're supposed to say, I finger. What you say, Mirali? Who is that my? Why you say my finger? If you say my finger, it means two entities. This finger is a separate entity, and the my is a separate. Yes? My finger. My means I am the soul, and the finger is mine. Can you see it like that? So, I'm going to conclude this discourse with the following verse. Of the great seers, I am Virgo. Of words, I am the single-lettered Om. Of sacrifices, I am the sacrifice of Japa. Of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So this is the Supreme Lord. And he is saying, of sacrifices, I am Abhi. Lord Shri Krishna is saying, of sacrifices, I am the Japa. What is Japa? What? So the Lord himself is concluding, I want all of you to hear me properly. The Lord is concluding, of sacrifices I am Japa. This word sacrifice has been misused in Sanatana Dharma for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But if you want to sacrifice, what you must do? Go to Maharaj's prayer shop, buy a mala and sacrifice your time. Sacrifice your time. You go one round, it's 108. And count how long it takes you to do 108. You can extend it depending on how much of time you have in between your gossiping, your fighting, all the nonsense you make. In between all of that, if you can allocate some time for spirituality, if you want to really find the Supreme Lord, you'll find Him. Yeah, and Sanatana Dharma has taken the japa to across all religions. Have you all noticed? Sanatana Dharma has taken the japa across all religions. You'll find the japa in Judaism. Have you seen this in the rabbis holding this japa? Then you'll find it in Christianity. Have you seen pastors holding this japa? Then you'll find it in Islam. Have you seen Muslims holding this japa? Why am I saying Sanatana Dharma took this to all these other religions? Can I make that qualified statement? Yes, why? Because Sanatana Dharma is the oldest recorded religion in the world, and all these religions have a historical date of birth. Yes? So what is oldest, it is scientifically correct to state that if Sanatana Dharma is the oldest, then they took this japa from Sanatana Dharma. Yes? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, are there any questions? Any questions? So if you want to get rich, if you want prosperity, we need to kick white capital, white monopoly capital out of South Africa, all of us, so you can get rich. I can't touch your head and make you rich because they are controlling the economy. Yes? Does it make sense? So 2026 and 2029 vote for a political system that is against white monopoly capital, kick them out of this country, and all the gold, the diamond, we have a lot of diamond here. Vasan now found a way to do all his business in Kimberley. You know, he's next to the diamond mine somewhere. Vasan, the mines are near you? Okay, Vasan is very close to the mine. If you want to get rich, follow Vasan, see what work you can get around Kimberley there. But on a serious note, God has given each country its wealth. Every country, there's something unique that other countries can use. Yes? If people take care of their own prosperity in whichever country they are, then this world is going to be a better place. So we need to understand that in the Vedas, politics is a very, very big part in the Vedas. A very, very big part is given to politics, where democracy is discussed, socialism is discussed, communalism is discussed, all of that is discussed in the Vedas. The Vedas are given by rishis who were the original scientists of the world. The rishis are the original bona fide scientists of the world. How to live as a community is in the Vedas. How to get involved in politics is in the Vedas. And it is the duty, it is the duty of a bona fide guru to get involved in the political structures of any country that that guru lives in. And the job of a guru is to advise political structures in terms of ethics and morality. So I think to conclude, like it?
Yes.
Love it.
Okay. So this is my biography. You can take it on that. This is my biography. This biography was instituted by the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and I had various meetings with various professors, And the tone of this biography is directed by them. The editor of this biography has a master's from UKZN. So this biography is an academic work on my life as a guru and from the time I was born, and everything is intertwined. This is the first biography that has been recommended by any university of a spiritual master from Sanatana Dharma. So this is a manuscript. This biography is going to be used in universities throughout Africa as a reference to the work that I have done in politics, in social cohesion, in oneness, in racial cohesion, in political cohesion. Remember this work that I did sent me to the G20 3 weeks ago, where I did presentations to the 20 countries of the world. And this interfaith of this ashram gave the ANC government international status in interfaith. Okay? So we are here, and I said last week that in the G20 I learned the word NATO. In G20 I learned the word. The deputy president said that the G20 is not NATO. No action, talk only. So here at the ashram, from the day I started in 2013, not very long ago, I hit the ground running. For a university to endorse my work in just 14 years, it means we have done a whole lot of work. So I hit the ground running, no action, talk only. I kicked that out of the guru system. I'm a modern guru of the 21st century. I'm aligning science, material science with spiritual science, and this is what intrigued the professors, because I believe, and I believe personally, that academia and spirituality must go hand in hand. Academia and spirituality must go hand in hand, because we take a diversion from spirituality as soon as we enter university. When we become academic, then we want to kick out our religion and our spirituality. Yes or no? Yes. If you sample the students in the university, how many of them want to believe in spirituality? Yes. Why? Why does our own Hindu academics want to boot out spirituality? Because their family is confused. Whose family? Their family. There's a huge confusion in the families of Hindus. So when they become academic, they don't want to follow all of these rituals, because there's no consistency between any three Hindu families. Yes or no? So I am changing that. I am going to university and I'm telling the people that if your family is not within the parameters of the Bhagavad Gita, then whatever you learn from your family is wrong. You have to have a bold guru who must tell it as it is. Because these gurus are building big ashrams. They say, okay, you're doing that prayer. You're a Hanuman devotee, yeah, carry on, it's right. You're a Shiva devotee, carry on, it's right. You're a Kali devotee, carry on, it's right. You're a Durga devotee, carry on, it's right. Mother Durga is the president of all the gods. Because these gurus want you to stay in his ashram. Yes or no? But I have to tell you that according to scripture, this is the supreme, this is the subordinate, and these are the coordinate administrators. I have to tell you that because I'm a God-realized guru. My perspective is not from the human side, my perspective is from the spiritual side. When you go to, if you charge for murder in a court, when the judgment is given, have you any capacity to change that judgment? Then why you want to change judgment of God, the Creator who created this universe? The Supreme Lord is telling you in this book everything that you need to know. There's only 700 verses in this Bhagavad Gita. 700 verses in this Bhagavad Gita. Now to ask my brother in a corner there, you think 700 verses is a lot of verses? Aye? That's your wife? No. Okay. So this is the example I give. Alright? It's a good example. It's been working for years. Right? Every wife that gets up in the morning, before she brushes her teeth, she shoots off more than 700 verses. Just in the morning before brushing her teeth, 700 verses are already shot off. Then whilst brushing the teeth, quite a few hundred verses also come out. Whilst toothbrush out a few verses, gargle water a few verses, and then wash the face a few verses. So in a day, a wife speaks the Mahabharata. That's 100,000 verses. In a day. How hard is it to read 700 verses in a day? But the Guru is saying, don't read 700 verses in a day. Just read one verse a day and understand it. So, is it hard or is it manageable with the examples that I have given you? Even Nirali is not a wife yet. But the same amount of verses. So my plea is, and this is what I'm going to be doing in university, I'm going to be lecturing, synthesizing material science and spiritual science. So when we talk about atoms, when we talk about the nucleus, when we talk about science, physical science in university, the Guru will synthesize it with spiritual science from the Vedas with reference. When you deal in the academic level, everything has to be referenced. So I will reference it from the Vedas and synthesize it with physical science in the universities, and I'm also going to teach spiritual democracy. I'm going to teach spiritual democracy. Material democracy is a scam. Material democracy is a scam. Jessica, we've been in politics for how long? 30 years? Jessica and I have been in politics for 30 years. There is no such thing as democracy. Everything is caucus. Yes, those of you that belong in organizations, in committees, you'll notice that there's no such thing. Nobody comes there independently, put up his hand and say Vasan must be president. We're going to talk outside there. If there's a committee of 10, we're going to talk outside there. 3 might say no, they don't like Vasan. 7 will definitely say in that caucus they're going to vote Vasan. 10 people won't vote 10 different people. That's what's democracy, where you must not be influenced by any caucus. You, in your own individual status, must vote. Is that democracy? Does it happen anywhere in the world? No. Nowhere in the world. So there's no such thing as democracy. But spiritual democracy is what I'm going to start lecturing at the university. Because spiritual democracy will come with ethics and morality. When you are ethical and when you have morality, then if you want to choose a leader, you're going to choose a leader through the lens of ethics and morality. And when that leader is chosen, what it will mean? That leader himself has ethics and morality. Jai Shri Narayana.